The following feature presentation is part of the Skywalking Network.
This is what you can look forward to on episode 463 of Skywalking through Neverland.
Let's erect a statue of D. Bradley Baker and put it in the middle of Hollywood.
Did such a great job. Let's do it. I want to do it. A X-Wing squadron with Omega.
You know, she's like SpongeBob Omega pants.
Oh my gosh. Ugh.
All right, now, was this a satisfying finale for you?
Are you ready?
Off to Neverland!
Here we go!
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land.
When I first made Star Wars, everybody in Hollywood said, well, this is a movie Disney should have made.
You're more than just fans. You're family.
Best day ever!
Secrets lab.
It's about family, and that's what's so powerful about it.
Hey.
When you use a bird to write with, it's called tweeting.
When we visit the world of Disney, we never grow old. It's a Peter Pan, Neverland that keeps us young in heart.
This is Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you are skywalking through Neverland. I have a good feeling about this.
Hey, Skywalkers! Another chapter has closed on another great Star Wars animated series. Well, we are here to help with the closure, but first, we want to welcome you back to Skywalking through Neverland. I am Richard Woloski, but now everyone please say hello to the princess, the general, my sweetie wife Sarah.
Oh, thank you. I love that introduction, sweetie.
Really? Okay,
Yes.
Good, because that just came to me.
That's because I'm wearing my Hoth Leia, what is this, vest.
Is
right
that
now.
her universe vest?
I believe so, although I did get it at the Disney store back when the Disney stores were still in malls. Do you remember that? Yeah, so it's a Disney store item.
Okay.
Yeah, but it might be her universe because they go both places. Yeah. All right. Well, Skywalkers, we are your enthusiastic podcast destination for the many decades of your Star Wars, Disney, and Marvel and pop culture fandom. So it's time for your weekly Wookiee hug and your little sprinkle of pixie dust for our family of Skywalkers. Now, we are recording live now on the Skywalking Through Neverland YouTube channel. So if you haven't already, please subscribe for notifications. And subscribing really helps out. And Richard, how many subscribers do we have?
Well, last week we put out the call. I think we wanted to get to 8860, was it?
8,860?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now we have 8865.
Oh, yay! That's exciting.
We put out the call, and the Skywalkers always seem to exceed what we ask for.
It's like 5 a week, but that's okay.
Yeah. Well, I did those Star Wars trivia tournaments on May the 4th.
Oh, yeah.
And handed out a lot of Skywalking Through Neverland buttons. So if any of those new Skywalkers are watching, hello, hey.
I hope
and
so.
Thank you for subscribing en masse.
Yeah, we would love that.
All right, but you know what it's time for now?
Yep.
It's time for the next call out.
The next phase.
The next call to action.
Okay.
Okay, next week we want 8870.
8870.
We want to get at least 8900 before we go to Comic-Con Revolution.
Right.
On May the 18th.
Okay.
Which is
Let's do
35. Come on.
Let's do it, Skywalkers. Let's do it. All right. We love that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if you subscribe and click the little bell, you get notifications for when we go live. And sometimes it's a surprise. Like today, we gave you an hour notice.
Yeah, last week we gave you no notice.
Yeah.
So consider this a step up.
Yeah, that's right. But always, we have our things we want to share, our live stream. We try to do that every Monday at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
And if it's not Mondays, it's Tuesday or Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific.
Last week we talked a lot about the May the 4th weekend and what we all did. And everyone was sharing great stories about seeing The Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
And its 25th anniversary release.
We also showed off some goodies we got for May the 4th.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really fun. And you guys did too.
All right, you know what I want to show off right now?
What?
The fact that we are being sponsored by Small World Vacations.
That's right.
They are a diamond-level Disney vacation planner travel agency and can help you book your trip to a Disney park around the world or on a Disney cruise. And best of all, the service is free of charge. So head over there to smallworldvacations.com for a no-obligation price quote and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you.
Now, in this episode, we are breaking down The Cavalry Has Arrived, the season and series finale of Star Wars The Bad Batch. Was it everything you expected? And where do our favorite dysfunctional clones go from here? And when will we see Omega again? There's a big discussion coming right up.
But first, we have got to discuss where we are recording from. Guess where? Same place, Long Beach, California.
Yes.
Yeah, during the summertime, sometimes we'll record outside the Long Beach studio.
That's true.
So I can't wait for those to happen. Sometimes we'll record on the beach.
Yeah, or at a park.
Yeah, but right now, we are in Long Beach, California on May the 7th, 2024.
Now, what happened today in Star Wars history?
All right, check this out. On this date, 11 years ago, May the 7th, 2013, Star Tours, The Adventures Continue, opens in Tokyo Disneyland. And this updated Star Tours opens as part of Tokyo Disney Resort's 30th anniversary.
So they already had the Star Tours, the original. There.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the Star Tours, The Adventures Continue, the update.
Right.
The one where there's a rebel spy?
Yep.
Don't ask me about that. I wouldn't know about that.
No, because I've been 9.5 times.
Now, I saw some footage of the Tokyo Disneyland Star Tours, and they had the Rebel Spy part, and I don't speak Japanese, but I believe they said, Richard, don't even think about it.
Of course.
Don't count on it.
Yep.
Now, in their Star Tours, they have an additional queue room, a holding room. Whereas our Star Tours, you walk right into that zigzag queue line where there's R2 and 3PO and the Star Speeder.
Right.
Well, they have like this big, giant holding room, and there's a Star Speeder above you. There's screens, digital screens around you. Then you go into that zigzag queue.
Wow.
Yeah, so they got this really nice room, which, if it's new, if it's Star Wars, we got to do it.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Also, what they have and what we don't, they have 3 ghosts who are in the hitchhiking pose. So you have 3 hitchhiking droids as their call out to the Haunted Mansion.
Oh my gosh. How cute is this? So they're okay, so they're the droids. They look like Captain Rex a little bit. One of them Captain Rex.
Yeah, one is the RX droid. And the other 2 are the droids we see that we see in the Star Speeder video.
Okay.
With 3PO. I'm not sure their designation.
No, me either. Mm-hmm. Well, this is cute, sweetie. I'm glad you found that.
Yeah,
what a fun little Easter egg.
11 years ago, this opened in Tokyo Disneyland. Another reason we've got to go to Tokyo.
Yeah.
I want to see those hitchhiking droids.
Me too. Oh my gosh.
Why hasn't anyone ever cosplayed as that?
I don't. That's like a deep cut.
Have you seen those droid builders? Those people can do anything.
That's true. Yes.
All right.
Oh, let's say hello to some people who are tuning in. Dubakt, hey Skywalkers, and Spencer Jowitz.
Spencer Jowitz is in the house.
Hey fam.
Yeah. If you haven't checked out his virtual cantina tour, go over there to the Star Wars Celebration Japan 2025 page. Spencer's got like more guests in his tour of 24 for this summer than I've ever seen at any Star Wars celebration. Mm-hmm. I don't know when the man sleeps. It's a big call out to Spencer, who will be on the show in just a few weeks to talk about the big tour of 24, big virtual Cantina Boonta Eve tour.
Excellent.
All right, now the cavalry has arrived, so it's time to talk about the Bad Batch season and series finale.
Tell us what Tantus is.
We're in this together.
It's been a while.
You are a vital piece to our work here.
To secure the future of this empire. The Empire's targeting us.
It's not over yet.
Whatever whatever is needed, you will have it. If we all go in, we're not all making it out. We're going down. Strap in.
Abort the mission. Negative.
Oh my gosh, we have another animated series finale. I think Lucasfilm really pulls out all the stops for these.
Oh, they sure do.
It's amazing. Yeah, this one is titled The Cavalry Has Arrived, and it wraps up our story of the Bad Batch and Omega and a lot of other characters that we see.
I thought they couldn't be beaten with Star Wars Rebels.
I know.
Okay, all right, Gauntlet. The bar has been set. Beat it.
Well, even the Clone Wars Season 7, that finale.
Right.
I mean, come on. That's insane.
Yeah. So, give us your initial thoughts on this season finale. Just the season finale.
Okay. So, I thought that I could not cry any more than that second season finale where Tech dies, sacrifices himself. It's Plan 99. Yeah, I was wrong because, oh my gosh, Rich, I think you and I looked at each other several times during this finale and like tears just streaming down my face. They did such a good job of like the writer Jennifer Corbett, Brad Rao. They did such a great job of wrapping up this series. And even like Crosshair in this series, he has like this huge journey, especially in this final season. And there was a moment where he's always been on the periphery of the Bad Batch or not a part of the Bad Batch. But there's a moment here, right, when the Bad Batch are going to go in, the Mount Tantus, and he takes control of the Bad Batch. Like he takes that hunter position and decides to lead the Bad Batch. And that got me in tears.
Oh, this is familiar territory to Crosshair.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Going to Mount Tantus.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So it kind of made sense. But before this moment, I don't think he would have felt comfortable taking control.
Oh, no, not with his condition, not with his PTSD.
Exactly. Then there was the other moment where Omega and I think it was the Bad Batch who got the clones out, Omega and Echo. They released the clones from their captivity and Nala Se, and then the clones decide to help them, even though, some of them forfeit their lives because
all
of
the
that
prisoners.
Decision. Yeah, all the prisoners.
They have one last fight in them, and this is it.
Yeah, that moment. And then the moment where Crosshair and Hunter save Omega. I'll get into the details of that later, but like that moment too just had me in tears. I was like, oh my gosh, it was just so emotional. Like this series gets me so emotional. If people think animation is for kids, that is so untrue.
Yeah, I don't think people have thought that for like quite a while now, because animation has gotten so adult.
It really has, especially when you get to these final seasons of different series. Like they start kind of small or like so that kids can get into it, but then they grow up with the kids.
Yeah, I think Clone Wars really started on an adult level, whereas Rebels started off with this very toyetic aesthetic.
Yes, absolutely.
And then they just said, you know what, forget it. We got to tell more darker stories.
Yeah.
And they did.
Yeah. So
same with this too. Well, this started off with Omega, and going back a couple of years, I remember a lot of people saying, we did this with the Clone Wars. We're good. But they didn't really introduce Omega into the marketing for a while. So no one had any expectations about how to connect with this.
Right.
But connecting through a child, seeing it through her eyes is always a great way to look at something like war on another level. Instead of just fight. Now we're looking at it innocently at first through the eyes of a child and making decisions.
That's a great point. Absolutely. All right, so Richard, what were your initial thoughts of this finale?
Well, I'm happy to see that it was not a 25-minute season and series finale.
Yeah.
Because, last week we thought, okay, this has got to be at least a 2-hour movie.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't 2 hours. It was 50 minutes, which was good.
I think
There's
so.
no way they could have told this story in 25 minutes. No way to wrap it up. It hit all the beats. We were on the edge of our seats as to who was going to survive, what was going to happen. Are we going to see Mount Tantus in another way. We saw 2 of them. Maybe those 3, maybe 4, maybe there was a whole area full of Mount Tantuses. What's the plural of Mount Tantus? Mount Tantuses?
Mount Tantai? I don't know.
Well, that works.
The 2 Mount Tantus? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, well,
Hard.
You know where I'm coming from. A lot, like, how many different captivity centers do they have in all of these? How many clones are in captivity?
That's a good question. Yeah.
Yeah, so much speculation, and I'm happy with the way things turned out. But I think they could have fit more story into 50 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah, if they cut back on the very long fight scenes and focus more on the story, because there was a lot more story to go through, which we didn't get. And we'll talk about that in just a bit. This is just for our initial thoughts.
Yes. Okay, wow. I don't agree with that. But
oh, great.
Yeah.
Imagine if we both agreed on everything.
I know. No.
Ugh.
I think they did a great, succinct job of wrapping up these storylines, but we'll talk about
succinct, however, they could have gone a little bit more. So maybe half succinct.
Okay.
But the animation, well, fantastic. Just gets better and better.
All right, so now that we've shared our initial thoughts, let's get into some of these characters and their character journeys, like anything that stood out to us. And I have a lot. So should we talk about these characters? Let's start with Crosshair.
Okay, before we do that, can we get into one comment in Sky Chat?
Absolutely.
All right. Dewback is saying, I really thought at least one more of the Bad Batch would have died.
Ooh.
I did like seeing Old Man Hunter and going up Omega. Okay, we're getting to the end here. I think that was a little too much of a pretty bow.
Oh, a pretty bow on it. Okay.
So that was his initial thoughts.
Yeah, thank you, Dewback.
So he thought everything was tied up in a nice pretty bow.
Anyone else who wants to share, please share your thoughts. We love your comments. Okay. Yeah, I mean, later on we'll talk about what we thought was going to happen, but that thought of at least one more batch would have died, that was definitely on our minds.
Yes.
So,
yes.
yeah.
All right, so let's get back to the standout character journeys and stories and story arcs.
Okay, so let's talk about Crosshair. Like I said, he's had an incredible journey, especially this season, because, I mean, in the initial first and second season, he was not with the Batch at all. He was on the side of the Empire. He had his turning point in the episode The Outpost last season, and then he was taken in to Mount Tantus, and they tried to make him one of those clone X's, basically. So poor guy. And then finally he escapes with Omega, and all this season he has had to kind of atone for his sins to each member of the Bad Batch in each different episode. And I thought they've done this very well. We've talked about this in one of our previous Bad Batch episodes as well, and his journey of atonement. And he also had to make peace with himself, because that's an important part of any kind of forgiveness. Yes, you can forgive another person, but you have to forgive yourself.
That's always the hardest one, too.
It is, for your wrongdoing. And so he did it.
He never really got there until the very, very end.
Right.
And that character and story arc of him going from good soldiers follow orders to where we left off with him in the end. I think any actor would love to get their acting hooks into a role like that. And D. Bradley Baker, come on. Just give this man an Oscar.
Yeah.
Even though it's on television, this man deserves a Nobel Peace Prize.
An Emmy, perhaps? But yes.
You know what? No, a statue. Let's erect a statue of D. Bradley Baker and put it in the middle of Hollywood.
Did such a great job. And for Crosshair, I mean, in this finale, he really takes what he's learned and all those character beats, and he steps up to be the leader of the Bad Batch. And also, when he's fighting the Clone X's, he loses that hand that was shaking, that was holding him back. And I think that set him free.
Oh, yeah.
That was a very symbolic moment.
I think even he knew once I lose this hand, that's closure.
Yeah.
That's closure on what had happened to me at Mount Tantus, because we know what happened after that. He was able to take that one important shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gave me chills.
That's the shot that did away with hemlock.
Yes. Oh God.
So yeah, that's all it took.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right, now let's move on to Emery.
Yes.
This is a big one here.
Yeah.
Dr. Emery.
Yeah, Emery Carr. And she is a clone. We learned that at the end of last season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she has her goggles. You know, she has her brown eyes, like brown eyes of Tech, but they're under these goggles. And she had this small role, but I feel like her character journey was dealt with really well in this season and really succinctly, because she starts out, she's just kind of doing her job. She has her blinders on. She's seeing the world through goggles that the Empire has given her, and
very, very geometric goggles.
Very geometric, very small-minded, and her world is opened up when Omega is put in captivity and kind of under her charge. It's like, oh, this is a clone. She has her own sense of self. She does what she wants. Emery learns from Omega, I think, a lot.
Emery wants to be what Omega is.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And that's someone who's free to use her own judgment skills.
Yeah.
In a free world.
Yeah.
And
not just be with her blinders on.
Right, but having been at Tupoka City.
Yeah.
On Camino so long, and then here, this is all she knows.
Yeah.
But then she sees Omega, and her whole world has opened up, and she knows, oh, there is an option of freedom?
Yeah.
I want that.
And then when she is brought into the Project Necromancer program and shown that, oh, they're holding kids in captivity here. That was her, yeah.
Kids and animals.
Yeah. Yeah, that was her breaking point. It's like, okay, no, we got to help these out. So I love that moment when Emery meets Tech. I think it was in the previous episode from this finale. Tech is like infiltrated the base, and Emery catches him in the room.
Oh, Echo.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Echo has entered the
Tech
base.
Was back?
No.
Did I miss this episode?
No, it was Echo. Echo had entered the base.
Right.
And Emery's the one who catches him and is like, well, we're going to really need your help if we're going to help those children. It was so, oh my gosh.
That was a great scene for her because she had recognized Echo even in the trooper armor because of his hand.
Yep.
Or the contraption that is on his wrist.
Yeah.
And that shows that Omega has told her all about her brothers.
Yeah.
And she kept this stuff in her memory. So it came right up front, and it shows that she was really paying attention to Omega.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't put her blinders on anymore, but she listened, and that really helped out in recognizing Echo, which led to her helping
free kids,
free clones, kids, the Bad Batch, everyone. They couldn't have done this without Emery
her.
Carr. Yes.
No, because she had the key to getting into the vault.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she had everything.
Oh,
so
she was their inside girl.
That was amazing. And then I love that we see her on Pabu later after they all escape, and she's not wearing those goggles. She is seeing the world through her own eyes. Like, oh my gosh. Just the symbolism is just so great. So, wow. I love it.
All right. Do you think Omega has had an arc in this whole series?
Oh, yes, she has. So, yeah, I mean, throughout the entire 3 seasons, she's a kid. She's just learning how to do things. She's learning from her clone brothers, even though she's older than them. But she's learning how to fight, right? And Tech makes her memorize all the plans. Mm-hmm. So she has them all in her head. And that was cute. She's like, oh, Tech made me memorize them all. And Crosshair's like, of course he did. Oh, I love that. So, and then what better way to learn something than to teach it? So by teaching those kids how to rely on themselves, how to rely on each other. You mean the kids
in the vault?
In the vault, yes. Okay. And how to escape. I think that was like her character journey right there.
Well, she went from the student to the master.
Yes, absolutely. She's like a true leader. Mm-hmm. And I think that's great.
Yeah, she's one of those kids are always sponges. Watch out what you say in front of kids. They'll absorb it, and she does.
Yeah.
She's like SpongeBob Omega Pants.
Because she's absorbing things.
Yeah.
That's very cute. No, I love it. I love it.
Who's going to be the first one to cosplay as SpongeBob Omega Pants?
I love it. Oh, before we go on to Omega, Dewback has a comment about Emery and Echo. I like that they hinted at yet another spinoff with Echo and Emery taking point on defending clone rights to the Senate. Nice. Yeah, because she goes off with him.
Yeah.
Because Emery's like, oh, I've done enough damage. I need to rectify what I've done.
Yeah.
I really like that.
I need
for
salvation.
Her. Yeah.
All right. I want to talk about Nala Se.
Okay. First of all, Omega in that epilogue, we find out like she becomes really a true leader. And she's ready to take on the world, the whole empire herself.
Oh, yeah. She's joining the rebellion.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Nala Se.
Nala Se. Yeah, she is willing to risk her life to protect Omega and to keep the Empire from progressing on Project Necromancer.
Yeah.
She knows what's going on. And she's going to take those secrets to the grave, and she does.
And she does. And okay, so I thought this was very poetic, and I did not realize this at the time because it's been so long since we've watched the season 1 finale of Bad Batch. But Admiral Rampart, is the one who orders the decimation of Topoka City.
Right.
And the the cloning facility, all of Nala Se's homeworld, like basically he orders that
the destruction of their city, of their people.
Her people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's good to note that he was being ordered. He was just the middleman.
That's true. But by the same token, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Made the wrong call.
Yeah, and Nala Se sees an opportunity to not only save Project Necromancer information from the Empire, but also destroy Rampart. And she does. She takes him out, even though he shoots her first. Mm-hmm. She's like, "Oh no, I already made this detonator alive," and off they go. She blows up all that info.
So I think it's safe to say that every character has had an immense character journey.
Yeah.
But let's do one more.
Okay.
And move on, because Hunter went from this leader, this soldier, to a daddy figure.
Yeah.
And it's very much like Din Djarin, went from a cold-blooded bounty hunter to a father figure too.
Yeah.
And I think for someone who is like a hunter and raised to do one thing and one thing only, to fight, and then because of his dysfunction, he's broken away from good soldiers follow orders.
Yeah.
Because good soldiers know better.
Yeah. Well, so after going through a lot of these characters, we're not going to do everyone, just the ones that really stood out to us this season. Which character did you identify with most?
Wrecker.
Oh, yeah?
I love Wrecker. Sometimes you just got to bulldoze your way through an obstacle. Sometimes, you can think it through and go, what's the best way to do it? Or you can just do it.
I can see that for you.
Yeah.
Definitely. Anyone in the chat, please let us know which character you most identify with.
He's very loyal.
I like that. Yeah. Very loyal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would go with Wrecker. How about you?
I think I'd have to choose Omega, and not just because she's a girl, but because of her optimism. And I am a very optimistic person, and I always go into a situation, with optimism. Like, you always get out of a situation what you put into it. Like, Omega was locked on Mount Tantus, but she decided, you know what? I'm going to use this hay and make this doll and make myself happy somehow. And she made friends with Batcher just simply by being her. So I feel like
she makes the best out of the worst situations.
Exactly. And that's what I try to do as well.
And you do.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
All right. Do you know what else you do the best of?
Yes.
That was really bad grammar, but I was trying to make a segue. Another thing that you are really good at is breaking down music.
Yes. So in this season, this series finale, well, first of all, in this season, there has been lots and lots of like electronic music and techno music, especially when it comes to Mount Tantus. We hear a lot more of that when we see those Clone X's, those 4 of those. And because that is like the entire symbolism of Star Wars, going back to Return of the Jedi, where you have the might of the Empire and its technology versus nature and like little Ewoks. And here you get that same thing. You have Batcher and our clone Force 99 who likes to use nature. Omega uses the Zillo Beast nature, to make a diversion and freeze the Zillo Beast in the process from the Empire who's technologically holding them. So that is displayed in the music a lot. And so
go ahead.
Yes, no, please.
I wonder if the music that the Kiners chose for that Zillo Beast sequence is reminiscent of the Godzilla music.
Oh.
And I didn't think about that until right about now.
Yeah, I didn't think about that either, so I'll have to go back and listen.
I'm not too familiar with the music of that, of those films.
What I wonder, and it's probably the case, is they probably used some music from the Clone Wars episode where they had the Zillo Beast. So I would assume that. Or Metamorphosis.
And I'm sure that music paralleled what we heard in those old Godzilla films.
Yeah, I would like. Okay, well that's a homework project for me.
Okay,
I'll go check it out. But also, what stood out to me, especially in this series finale, was the use of the Bad Batch theme. Throughout this whole season, the Bad Batch has been a little scattered. They haven't really been together, and especially in the first 3 episodes, we did not hear the Bad Batch theme at all in those episodes during the story progression. You'd hear it in the credits, but not the story progression. So in this episode, you get a lot of the Bad Batch theme happening when, Hunter and Wrecker and Crosshair are entering the base. You hear the Bad Batch theme. You hear it later on when they're leaving. They exit the system there, and they escape. It's like, woohoo! So yeah, it's all over the place in this episode, and I loved that. It was like, bring it on. All right, so that's all of the music that I noticed in this episode. But now we're going to get into our speculations on going into this episode. Like, what did we feel was going to happen?
For weeks we speculated what was going to happen in the finale because they had so many stories going that this could have gone any direction at all. And of course, the big conversation was, which member of Clone Force 99 are we going to lose?
Yes.
Now, do you notice I said Clone Force 99 and not the Bad Batch? Because Omega is part of the Bad Batch.
Yes.
She is not part of Clone Force 99.
Okay, yeah,
so
got it.
We knew that we weren't going to lose Omega. That was a foregone conclusion. So who in Clone Force 99 are we going to lose? I think you thought Crosshair.
Yes, I did. And he did try to sacrifice himself. He's like, I want to do Plan 99, guys. And they're like, no, we go in together.
We already lost one because of that.
Yeah.
After this, let's just take that. Let's delete that off the out of the files.
Sheet. Yeah.
Yeah. No more of that.
Exactly.
I thought Wrecker easily.
Oh, and it was scary there for a while.
Because his armor was all torn apart, which means that you could get through to him now. And that one Clone X did use that electro spear and stab him through the armor.
Yeah.
I thought, here we go. And who would we most feel empathy for? Wrecker, the big teddy bear.
But you can't do that to Wrecker.
But I know, but that's the thing. In order to really pull the heartstrings of the audience, who's the one that we're gonna lose? The big teddy bear, Wrecker. So I really thought we were gonna lose him. And during that one battle scene, I thought, oh no. Okay, pause it right now. Go get a box of Kleenex. Okay, now that was one of my speculations.
Okay.
What was one of your speculations?
Honestly, I was not thinking it would be Omega until we spoke with Michelle Eng at the round table, and she was referencing how she got very emotional. They recorded several different versions of the finale, or she didn't specify if it was the finale or the epilogue that they recorded different versions of. And I would assume probably the epilogue.
Yeah.
Yeah. But however, the way she was talking about Omega's character journey and where she ended up and how emotional she got, I thought that there might have been something tragic, an end to Omega. Like she would somehow get pulled into the cloning program and like give up herself for the other clones to escape. I don't know. Like she wouldn't die, but she would like, you know, her blood would become part of that Project Necromancer somehow. So I was totally wrong, and I'm very glad.
We knew that Omega and Bachelor were going to survive.
Yeah, yeah. So I was wrong, but from what Michelle Eng said, we'll have to go back and listen to that because it was very foreboding. I don't know. So yeah, and also I thought that water might come into the finale a bit more. Like how in the mid-season finale, they had that big waterfall backdrop to when the clones met up, like the clone X fell down it.
Yeah.
And they saw Wolf? Yeah, Wolf.
There's no one named Wolf.
It's so hard to get that L in there. I'm sorry.
If I can do it, you can do it. Wolf. It's like Wolosky.
Wolf. Okay.
Also, I thought we were going to see Boba Fett.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. They set up that she's got a brother, an unaltered brother, and why not bring him in? You have the Omega. Now let's see the other side. Let's see the Alpha, which is Boba Fett. And I don't know why they didn't bring him into this.
Okay. I think it just wasn't his story.
It wasn't, but then why bring it up earlier? They were talking about the unaltered clones.
Right. I think it's just to make that connection to be like...
but at least a very brief cameo.
Now, he would have been the same age as
Omega?
Omega?
Same age as Omega, yes.
Okay. Or maybe a year... I mean, who knows when they made those clones, though.
Right. Oh, that's very true.
Yeah, so they could be a year or two apart, actually.
But that was one of the things that I thought going in. Like, okay, they already alluded to the unaltered brother.
Okay.
It's Dave Filoni, so I didn't put it past him.
Yeah. We see a lot of characters. I mean, heck, we got what's her name back?
We got Asajj Ventress. We got Cad Bane. Why not
Fennec Shand?
Yeah, why not Boba Fett? So that's what I thought. But yeah, in a 50-minute show, it's like, how do you squeeze this in? A 2-hour season series finale? Yes, we're gonna do Boba Fett.
I can see that.
I speculated that we would not see who the clone ex-assassins were. Everyone was always speculating that we had talked to, but speculating who they were.
Right.
I just thought they're just their character devices.
Okay.
They're just the assassins, no more, no less, and they don't need a backstory.
And you were right. Thank goodness. I think I would have been very upset if Tech became one of them.
Yeah.
Because then there wouldn't have been time for him to have any kind of like atonement or anything.
Yeah, everyone cried a river when he fell to his death.
Yes.
And can you imagine if they said, nope, we brought him back. We wouldn't have ever trusted them again.
Yeah, I don't like that. So I'm glad. I mean, he had a soldier's death. He really did. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he sacrificed himself. Mm-hmm. You can't go back on a sacrificial death.
No, like Baymax. Baymax or Bing Bong.
Right.
You know, those characters who sacrifice themselves so the rest can live.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I full trust in Dave Filoni and crew, and they lived up to it.
Yeah. Good.
All right, now, was this a satisfying finale for you?
Okay, it was super, super satisfying. I thought it was much happier and much more tied up than I thought it would be, just because Star Wars is always like tragic, right? You end, well, not always, I guess. Return of the Jedi has a really happy button too.
Well,
on
so
the end.
Does Star Wars: A New Hope.
Yes. Not Empire.
No. But I see where you're going with that.
Yeah, but a lot of these animated series have had kind of some tragic things happen, like the ending. Spoilers: the ending of Star Wars Rebels. You know, we lost Kanan, right? You know, and that was kind of sad.
And then Ezra.
Very sad. Yeah. The end of Clone Wars season 7. You know, I mean, it's very depressing. You have.
We lost freedom of the galaxy.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess I wasn't expecting such a happy finale and this lovely little epilogue. But I do have one little nitpick, and that is that I wish Batcher had a bigger part in these final 3 episodes. She was just left on Pabu and didn't really have a place in the finale or a journey. Like she could have made friends with that Zillow beast, like let him off, you know? Like I feel like Batcher would have been a fun addition, and she really became part of the Bad Batch in the first half of the season, but then she was left to the wayside in the second half.
Yeah, I can see that, just because they wouldn't bring Batcher to such a dangerous mission like this.
Yeah, but it's her planet. Like she knows the landscape. She knows the territory. I don't know. She could have rallied the other hounds.
The other Lucas.
Yeah, the other
Lurkas.
Yeah, the other Lurkas, and like they could have rampaged through the facility,
okay.
like nature versus technology again. Like
right.
I would have liked that. So if they had made a little longer finale,
even if they said, "Okay, Batcher, you stay here. Okay, we'll be back soon," and then she just snuck upon the ship.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm gonna help. Ruff, ruff, ruff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, for me, I had a good time with it. However, once again, I thought we could have used more story in lieu of the longer fight scenes, and I was very ambivalent at the very end when it was you get this nice shot, this nice family portrait as the camera backs away, and Hunter saying, "All right, now we can be anything we want to be," and fade to black. All right, fine. But then they came up with the epilogue. I thought, okay, this is where I flipped the script and changed my mind.
Oh, okay.
Because now we're opening up a whole new door with Omega leaving.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's why I thought, okay, this was a great ending to a great series.
You know why? Because Star Wars is all about hope, and that gave you hope for the future and like possibilities. I think that's neat.
So
okay.
I'm very happy with that, and it really needed that.
Yes.
Or else it would have just been too the bow would have been tied up too perfectly.
Like Dubact hints at, right? Dubact had said that it was too much of a little bow.
Yeah, too much of a perfect bow.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But
then I got to ask, how many years do you think it was between that fade out to that family portrait moment to the tag?
I would think it would have been about 10 years.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. She's early 20s, I would speculate.
You would say what? She's like 10, maybe?
10, 11.
11?
Yeah.
Because at the beginning of this season, her hair did grow, which shows a time progression.
It was about 6 months.
Yeah. So maybe, I would say she's like 21 here.
Yeah.
So about 10 years.
Definitely.
And the years had really caught up to Hunter.
Yeah.
He looked a little bit much older.
Well, they age faster. The clones, his clones.
Oh, very true.
They do age like twice as fast or something.
Yeah, that's a good point. So that 10 years could have been like 20 or 30 to him.
Exactly. Yeah, so he did look very aged, very grizzled, but still very cool. Mm-hmm. Very cool. Hunter needs to look cool.
Oh, and he does.
Yeah.
But now it begs the question, when are we getting this Omega spinoff?
Yes!
Her joining the rebellion?
Okay, like a rogue squadron? Like series? Where she's like in charge of the squadron, like the X-Wing squadron. Like I would freaking love that. I could see that. Because Tech taught her to fly, and to bring that forward, it's like Tech is back. Oh, no.
Yeah, this would be like the Rangers of the New Republic, which is supposed to be the spinoff of Mandalorian.
Let's make it Omega.
This could be the Omega series.
Let's do it.
Her in charge of the Rogue Squadron. Now that there's a little chatter about Patty Jenkins going back to the story, since she's not doing Wonder Woman, she's coming back to Star Wars.
I'm so excited. Let's do it. I want to do it. A X-Wing squadron with Omega. Okay.
That would be really cool. Come on. You got to make this happen. So we're all in agreement. We have not seen the last of Omega.
No. I think we'll definitely get cameos, but I hope more. She's too good a character to have just a cameo. We need more.
Yes.
Well,
it should have really ended with Omega will return, like they do in the Avengers.
Oh yeah, like Iron Man will return.
Yeah.
Superman will return. Yeah. Well, in general, I love epilogues because, like, after the height and excitement of a climax of a series or a book or anything that you've been long invested in, the epilogue is like this nice moment where it's more of there's no climax there. It's just like, it's like easing you out of the story. It's giving you something to think about and speculate on, and softly leaving you with thoughts on what you've just experienced, and it like brings your heart rate down. It's like a good moment to do that. So I love epilogues. I'm so glad they had that.
And it shows that these characters will continue. Now, Clone Force 99, their story has been told.
Yes.
We're done with them.
I think they wrapped that up, but then
yeah.
Yes, but now Omega has
however,
a journey.
Asterisk, I wish they had told what happened with Wrecker and Crosshair. They did mention them, so we know they're still with us.
Yes.
But why not put them in the epilogue? I know they wanted that father-daughter moment.
Well, they probably recorded some lines, some alternates.
Yeah.
We want to see alternate epilogues, guys.
Yeah.
We know you guys recorded them.
I think they really needed a shot where Omega gives Wrecker and Crosshair a hug goodbye. Just to show that they're still there. They mentioned them, but you know what? Show it, don't say it.
Okay. All right, so we've been over this series, we've been over the epilogue, but is there any other episodes that really stood out this season for you?
I'm going to say episode 4, A Different Approach.
Okay, remind us.
This is a great episode where we see the bond strengthen between Omega and Crosshair. This is when they just escaped from Mount Tantus.
Okay.
And they crash land. And now they've got to work together. And Crosshair really sees what Omega's all about. So this is what you've learned from the other guys. And he learns to respect her on a whole new level. That she is a leader because she's the one who keeps making decisions. She's the one who keeps forging ahead. I love the cantina sequence where she's like, okay, we need money. Let's go and make some money. And Crosshair's all, we don't have anything to bargain with. She's like, I'll take care of it. And she does. Yeah. She sees the game that she learned at Sid's Cantina and go, okay, I know where to go from here.
Yeah.
And starts betting and starts winning all this money. Then the stupid Imperial captain comes in and says, oh, Omega, you won the game, but guess what? You owe me all these fines.
Yeah, that was bad.
And you see Crosshair off to the side going, this girl knows her stuff. And then I can't forget about the Jurassic Park ending.
Yes. Well, and the turn in that episode where they've done everything Omega's way and it's just not working out. Like they just can't escape. And finally she's like, all right, Crosshair, let's take your way. And he's like, finally, and comes out swinging with like Rocket Raccoon with his shotgun.
Yeah. So they really learned to work together.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, they succeed because each one can compromise to the other one. And once again, that Jurassic Park ending where all those void creatures that we saw in the Clone Wars are all running through the hangar.
Like Gallimimus.
And and then what is that one creature that pulls that Imperial captain?
Oh, the Rathtar.
In the shadows. That's a Rathtar.
It's a Rathtar.
Let the Rathtar win.
Yes. Oh, man. Okay. Well, I'm going to bring up another episode that's very Jurassic Park heavy, and that would be episode 5, The Return. And this is where the batch returns to the outpost, and they have that snow worm run around, and it's full of Jurassic Park references, like when they turn off the power and the snow worm gets in, and then they have to go to a different location to turn on the power, to reset the power. Like, it was exactly Jurassic Park. I loved it. And this is also where Crosshair and Hunter had their kind of...
They did talk it out.
They had to talk it out and get good with each other. Just like the previous episode with A Different Approach, it was Crosshair and Omega. This one was Crosshair and Hunter. Mm-hmm. So I really liked that episode.
Mm-hmm. Can I give a special nod to episode 9, The Harbinger?
Yeah, you can, because I have another episode.
Okay,
as
good.
Okay.
All right, The Return of Asajj Ventress.
Oh yeah.
I love the crossover characters like Cad Bane and Asajj Ventress. I'm not really sure what purpose it served.
I think it was to reintroduce Asajj Ventress, and she's gonna pop up elsewhere.
Yeah.
That's what I think it was for.
Maybe another Tales of the Non-Empire.
Tales
of the Empire tangentially. And she was there to use the word, let's all say it together. She used the word midichlorian.
Oh, she did. Yeah, you're right.
And it was once again to push Omega into, is she a force sensitive being? So it introduced that, and I'm sure Filoni said, who can we use to forward that storyline? Let's bring back Asajj. Could be any of the characters, so let's bring back Asajj.
I think Dave Filoni has plans for Asajj and was like, here, guys, you need to use this character. Go. Like, I feel like she's coming back somewhere.
I hope she does.
Because also Tales of the Empire reintroduced Morgan Elsbeth, who's a Night Sister as well, and brought us to the planet Dathomir. So there's these little nuggets that are hidden, and us people who are crazy and watch all the Star Wars things are going to be very satisfied when she comes back in a big way.
So they're like building to like a Night Sister movie.
Absolutely.
Or okay, I want a series. I don't want a movie. I want series.
Yeah.
Because then you can really delve into the immense backstory
I would
that
love
we
that.
know the Night Sisters have.
Also, right now I'm re-listening to The Courtship of Princess Leia. There's a whole new audiobook out. It's the whole book, and it's really fun. And the Night Sisters arrive, and they're riding Rancors.
What I would give for that, just to see that on the big screen.
It's so awesome.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And speaking of big monsters, she gets to fight a big sea monster. I love me a big monster in Star Wars. It calls back to the quote that Wrecker said, "Why is there always a big monster?" For me, the best quote in the whole series.
I love it.
I love me some big monsters.
Then I can see why you like that episode. And also Ventress in that episode teases, she says, "Oh, I've still got a few lives left."
Yeah.
So yeah, she's
Asajj
that Night Sister
Ventress
magic
will return.
Yeah, that's exactly what that quote was for.
Mm-hmm.
Yay. Okay. Well, I'm going to bring up episode 10, Identity Crisis. This is when the episode that is completely in Mount Tantus. We don't see any of the Bad Batch, and it's Emery when she asks to head Project Necromancer after Nala Se is taken into custody. And this is where she learns that Hemlock is truly evil and that they are capturing kids, and she gives that one little girl the doll.
The Tuca doll.
The Tuca doll that
that
Omega had. Yeah. So I feel like this was a really cool episode, and the name of it is perfect. Identity Crisis. It's Emery's identity crisis. Like throughout this whole season, she's been like a cardboard cutout. She's just been following her role every day, her daily routine, and now she's breaking out of that, and she's losing her goggles, and she's figuring out, no, I really got to be helping these kids.
Mm-hmm. All right, Glenn Stein says in the Sky Chat, we finally got to see another clan on Dathomir in Tales of the Empire.
Absolutely, the Mountain Clan. And I'm looking forward to it because in The Courtship of Princess Leia, Trisha Barr had mentioned that there is a Mountain Clan in there.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
So I'm going to read. She said it's not exactly like it's portrayed here in Tales of the Empire, but I just wanted to see where that went and all these different clans on Dathomir. So
great.
Yeah.
Now we know that all these series, they're not just standalone series. They're all going to tie in somehow.
Oh yeah.
How do you think the Bad Batch will tie into upcoming movies or TV shows?
Okay, so I saw a rumor. This is not my idea, but I just saw it. A rumor that Omega might appear in Skeleton Crew, which is the live action series, as played by Carrie Condon. And she's an Irish actress. She's in Better Call Saul. She's Mike Ehrmantraut's daughter-in-law. She's also the voice of Friday in Marvel films, like in Spider-Man and the Age of Ultron. After Vision turns into Vision, then
Right.
Tony Stark needs Friday.
Yeah.
And so she's the voice.
She's the replacement of...
Yeah, and she kind of has an Irish lilt in there. I don't know, somehow. I had to hear it first. Sorry.
Yeah.
That was very bad. So I love that idea, but I do love the idea more of some kind of series of X-Wing with Omega that we just came up with. Yeah. Did you have any other ideas?
Oh, yeah. I think this ties in perfectly with The Rise of Skywalker.
Okay.
All right. The next time I hear somehow Palpatine returns in a very demeaning way, I'll say, watch The Bad Batch, okay? Because we know how Palpatine returns. And he would have had a very healthy clone body by The Rise of Skywalker if it weren't for The Bad Batch.
Right.
All right. Tie that in. Mount Tantus was destroyed per Tarkin's orders, and all funding was rerouted to Project Stardust. And if only Tarkin had known about Project Necromancer, then maybe the Mount Tantus, the research there would have continued.
But the research was all destroyed by Nala Se.
But yeah, I'm sure there was a couple of things here and there. They could have salvaged something.
Yeah.
But he didn't know about Project Necromancer. It was only between Palpatine and Hemlock.
Right.
But if Tarkin had known about it, he would have said, all right, let's the Mount Tantus is pretty much destroyed, but let's get a cleanup crew to exact any information we can from this. If it's so important to Palpatine, important to the Emperor, we got to continue this. But Tarkin didn't know, so screw it. Let's leave Tantus here as it is, and all the funding, I'm not going to have fun to have it cleaned up. I'm going to have it fund toward Project Stardust.
Okay.
Therefore, Palpatine is left without a good clone body by the time of Rise of Skywalker, all thanks to Tarkin.
All thanks to Tarkin.
Yeah.
All thanks to Nala Se. All thanks to Emery.
Yeah,
Yes.
but I say it's really at this point Tarkin has got that last nail on the coffin of that to shutter Tantus.
Okay. Well, speaking of shuttered Mount Tantus, I love the idea that there's an abandoned Mount Tantus that maybe Thrawn will move into by the time of this Dave Filoni movie that's happening, coming up. So,
you mean Mandalorian?
Yeah, the Mandalorian and Grogu. Yes.
Or the other Mandalorian movie.
I guess Mandalorian and Grogu, because Thrawn is involved in that. I mean, it's got to be, because he comes back with Ahsoka series. So, yeah, I think that's cool. Maybe they go to Dathomir and are like, uh-oh, Dathomir's taken over by Asajj Ventress. We better find a new place. And they find Mount Tantus. I don't know. I'm speculating.
I think that would open up a lot of doors to that cloning research, because it hasn't all been destroyed. You just need the right people to decipher it.
Right.
You can't just have anyone walk in there and go, oh yeah, I know where Nala Se left off. Let me get in here.
I guess I'm connecting Thrawn with cloning and Mount Tantus because in the original Heir to the Empire series, that's what he was involved with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure they would go back there.
Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, you're right.
But it's available. That's all I'm saying.
It's there.
It's there.
It's there for the taking.
Yes.
So yeah, that would be a good tie-in.
And we all know that Dave Filoni is very connected to that EU stuff. All the extended.
Yeah. He knows enough about it where he can pick and choose.
Yes, and he picks and chooses the best things, you guys. The best things. Just bringing Thrawn back and Rook and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Woo.
Now they did set up Project Necromancer, and I'm obsessed with this because it furthers what we see in the movies. And once again, I want people to stop saying, and somehow Palpatine returned. Okay, they set it up. They're not gonna just let it dangle there. We're gonna see it again. We have to. It's too big of a part of the Star Wars Skywalker saga.
I'm kind of with the somehow Palpatine returned people. I'm sorry. I'm on the side of it's a little silly.
But to Poe and the Resistance, they don't know what the audience knows.
I know. Yeah, well, that's true.
There is a way. We do know how Palpatine returns through the cloning, through Snoke, through his research. But Poe and the Resistance, they don't know about this. Maybe that was just a line that should have been cut because it opened up so many memes.
It's true. Come on. We love memes.
Yeah, I think it's very short-sighted.
Okay. All right. Well, it's very short-sighted to say, oh, we need a big bad. Let's bring the Emperor back. Boop. And then the Rise of Skywalker, somehow it happened. All right. That's how I feel.
Yeah, and if you don't have the Emperor, everyone loved the Emperor.
Yes.
So
I agree. He's a great big bad.
And it really explains Snoke.
Yeah.
And there's a whole big discussion there on the sequels and which way they could have gone and should have gone, or are we happy with the way they are? I'm saying yes.
All right, I'm saying they could have used work. All right, but this is not our discussion for this week. We could really go into.
You know what? I'll go to the mat protecting the Star Wars sequels,
and I'll be like, I want to see what the Mandoverse is gonna bring us.
I hope they bring back Palpatine. Ah. Okay, I said it.
All right, well, let's round out our Bad Batch discussion by talking about the animation.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, actually, let me bring up a point here from Dubecht, who brings up that he saw a really cool parallel of the two aerial shots of Mount Tantus, and you see like the two rings, and then you see Pabu in the water with the two rings surrounding it. And yeah, they both looked the same, but just very different in terms of the coloring
It pretty
and
much
the lighting.
crystallizes what we saw in Return of the Jedi. You have the technology versus the organics.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. I love it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So Star Wars has always been top notch in the animation series.
Mhm.
Do you think this follows in the same regards as the Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels, and even Star Wars Resistance?
And Tales of the Empire.
And Tales of the Empire.
Yes.
But I'm talking about long-term series in terms of animation, in terms of storytelling.
Oh, absolutely. I think it does.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah. Like, that's a silly question. I love it.
You know what? Just like to put it out there.
Yeah, I do.
You never know. Sometimes you'll ask me a question thinking I'm going to go one way, but I go the other way.
Yeah. All right. Well, are there any shots that you can think of right now that kind of stick out in your head?
Ever since we saw that shot of the Star Destroyer over Jeddah City in Rogue One, my mind was blown because we've never seen a Star Destroyer in the atmosphere to the planet's surface.
Mhm.
And then we saw it in Andor.
Yeah.
And then seeing it here going over Mount Tantus, yes, being that close.
Yeah.
And we get to see the dimensions and perspective of the size of an immense Star Destroyer. We saw them in Tales of the Empire going through those trees. Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
And coming out of the fog.
Yeah, and just all those big monsters. Let's have a Star Wars spin-off series of just big monsters. And they're animated just so well.
How awesome was the shot of the Zillo Beast when he was in the Mount Tantus? He was gigantic. Like, he filled the screen totally. But then they showed the shot where he finally disappeared into the forest, and he was very small among the forest trees, looking a lot like the Brachiosauruses in Jurassic Park at night when it's the Brachiosaurus time and they're sleeping and their little heads come up out of the forest.
Okay, I see where you're going.
When Ellie the kids are like going making their Brachiosaurus sounds.
And that's the same scene where the Brachiosaurus sneezes all over the kid.
Yeah, it is. I'm sorry.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah.
All right, so we're all in agreement that this was a great series, a great addition to the Star Wars universe, and it leaves us wanting more, and that's what a good series does.
It leaves us wanting an X-Wing Squadron Omega series.
Coming soon to Disney+. Well, that wraps up episode 463 of Skywalking Through Neverland. We want to thank Disney and Lucasfilm for making such an incredible addition to the Star Wars universe. And we want to thank all you Skywalkers for joining us on this live recording.
And this journey.
Yeah, and putting comments in the Sky Chat. We want to thank everyone for subscribing to our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So once again, we need 5 more by next week.
Let's do it.
That's the goal.
5 more subscribers.
Yeah, so please subscribe, and that way you can join us, and we want to see your comments.
Are you interested in our books? Autographed copies of Today in Star Wars History, Parts 1 and 2, and our interactive notebook are available now from skywalkingthroughneverland.com/book. Or if you're near Texas, near Houston, we will be there on Memorial Day weekend at Comic Palooza. And we'll also be in Ontario, California on May 18th. We'll have a few books with us there as well.
Go to our skywalkingthroughneverland.com website for all the dates, all the specifics, and our Skywalking Through Neverland Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see an event calendar there as well.
And would you like to support Skywalking Through Neverland? Would you like your name shouted out every month? And would you like your name in the credits of every YouTube video? Well, you can consider supporting us through the Skywalking Force, which is our Patreon. The Skywalking Force has access to bonus content in the form of our Zoom discussions on the latest Disney Plus shows. And all this bonus content begins at only $5 a month. So you can head to skywalkingforce.com, have a look at the options, and thank you so much to those of you. There's over 40 of you who are already part of the Skywalking Force. We want to thank you so much for that.
We also want to thank our sponsor, Small World Vacations, for their continued support. Thinking of a trip to a Disney park or a Disney cruise? Well, head over there to smallworldvacations.com today for a no-obligation price quote and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you.
All right, Skywalkers, get ready for this. We need you in the comments. We are part of the Skywalking Network, where you can find other great shows like Talking Apes,
the Max Effects Podcast,
the Neverland Clubhouse,
Totally Tell Me Everything,
Star Warsologies,
and the YouTube shows Collectopolis,
and Today in Star Wars History. You can find us on social media. We are at Skywalking Pod for most of your social medias. You can also search Skywalking Through Neverland on Facebook and on YouTube and find us there. You can email us, share@skywalkingthroughneverland.com.
Now, don't forget to stick around for bloopers and other fun bits that didn't make it into the show. And
always remember
to bring along your batcher.
And let that Zillow beast go. And
Neverland on Alderaan.
I'm going to do it. I'm the general today.
Okay, you go ahead.
Here we go. Wow, how cute is that? Well, you could always do what Qui-Gon did. Was it Qui-Gon? In The Phantom Menace, he walks up to R2-D2 and goes, "What's your designation?"
Oh, that was Captain Panaka.
Captain Panaka. And he looks at a...
R2-D2.
Yeah, and what he's looking at on R2, who knows? Because there's no designation there.
Mm-mm.
That was a funny call out that you found in The Phantom Menace. All right.
And Spencer says, "I don't sleep. That's prime working time." See? See what I mean? That's a great time to go to work.
Yep.
Hey, look at those names to the left. They are part of the Skywalking Force, our Patreon.
Become a producer yourself and check out all the Disney Plus themed bonus content available depending on the level you subscribe.
Become a member of the elite Skywalking Force at skywalkingforce.com.